We're coming to you from the beautiful Dartmouth Curling Club as we take a look at a big shot of the ice surfaces on the last draw. And it is a big one here for the teams that we are going to be concentrating on. It is Sheet C, Team Breen out of the Mayflower Curling Club, 3-3 versus Team McEvoy out of the CFB Curling Club. It's draw number 7 of Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, proudly presented here on Bell 5 TV1 as we say good evening, good afternoon, and maybe to other people watching anywhere around the world, good morning or good evening. My name is Dan Hobson. Glad you can join us, and we're delighted to have Nancy McConnery here for the call on this one. And you know, as I said, it's 3-3. Both of these teams pretty well what they got to do win to get themselves maybe a little bit better position. 4 teams at 3-3 coming into this one, so you've had a chance to be around the rink here for a lot of these championships, had a chance to see the action. Let's get your thoughts on this one as we have our first throw on the way here from McEvoy. So Breen will have the hammer here throwing the blue rocks.
Starting out with a nice shot, keeping it clean for the first end, putting it just top 4.
There is Teresa Breen back to doing skipping duty. So there is her lead, Amanda Simpson. The second is Jocelyn Adams. Third, Marley Power. And their coach is Jeff Wilson. And as we mentioned, they're out at the Mayflower Curling Club. And as we mentioned, this is the last draw here on the Women's Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Right now, Arsenault McDermott sitting up top, 5-1 coming in today, and 4 teams at 3-3. Breen, Brothers, McEvoy, Pinckney, and Jones 2-4. The Delahunt team and Ladouceur at 0-6. So win to go 4-3, and the loss to go to 3-4, and pretty well in your chance of getting into the playoff format. That's what's in store for this one.
Yes, all the teams at 3-3 is a must-win. You win your game, and you're at least guaranteed a playoff.
Yeah, so Pinckney will be on sheet E versus Arsenault, who's at 5-1. And Brothers taking on McDermott, who's at 5-1. That's on sheet D. And that's our other presentation over there on 5 TV1. And Ladouceur and Delahunt 2-4. Delahunt is, Ladouceur 0-6. As the teams exchange shots here.
Yeah, it's fairly open end. Teams just getting into their mojo. Just trying to keep things clean for the first end, maybe bank a little bit of time on their time clocks. Because the ends coming up will most likely be quite intense.
There is Julie McEvoy there, trying to set up the shot here. This is Sheena Moore, and as you see, Jill Thomas, their lead, scrubbing right now. Joined there by their third, Daniel Parsons, and coached by Bruce Lonis, and they are out of the CFB Curling Club. Thomas to your left, and Parson to your right. Better pluralize that, it's Parsons. A little bit of a writing error to start things off here on sheet C. So as we see, clean start, of course, as Nancy has mentioned. Of course, Nancy's going to be at the senior, so not only do you get a chance to hear her voice, but in a few weeks now, in February, get a chance to see her in action with a broom in hand and throwing rocks.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I really miss being out there. Watching and commentating, it really makes you miss the game a lot.
This is team second Jocelyn Adams there, and she looks like she'll be heavy on this as it goes out and out of play.
Yeah, the ice conditions have been really nice this week with the speed being really, really quick. So most of the players really like this speed. It's easy for the sweepers to judge the rocks and sweep them into the 4-foot.
Like a little wobble there from Moore, but I think she'll be okay. And coming out of the hack. The road here for the McEvoy foursome out of the CFB Curling Club. It started off pretty bumpy. A loss to Colleen Jones and another loss to Marianne Arsenault, and then she got a win against Colleen Pinckney. Then a loss to Kristen McDermott, and has followed it up with 2 straight wins over Isabel Ladouceur and Jill Brothers. So at one point, this didn't look to be like it was going to be an important game for the McEvoy team, but they have climbed their way back in after starting this championship at 0-2.
And now they're right in the hunt for a tiebreaker game.
And the Teresa Breen story has definitely been interesting. First draw loss to Colleen Pinckney, 10-5, and then a win against Isabel Ladouceur, and then a loss to Marianne Arsenault and a loss to Jill Brothers. So, bit of a streaky team after going 1-1. Got 2 straight losses, went to 1-3, but they've started to pull some wins off of Colleen Jones, the Del Hunt team, and beat Kristen McDermott to give her first loss. And that's how we have gotten here, and the teams have gotten here to their records. Final draw here on the final day of round robin competition. That will just stick around the back 12.
Nice hit and roll by Danielle Parsons.
So as I mentioned, other action, Jones and Ladouceur are on sheet B. Nothing much in terms of playoff implications for those teams. Their best Jones can finish is if she gets a win to go to 3-4. And of course, sheet D, Brothers McDermott, that big one here for Brothers. She'd like to get a win to go 4-3. And Pinckney, the same scenario, coming in at 3-3, hoping to finish off 4-3. But to do that, she's going to have to knock down Marianne Arsenault, and that has been a team that's been cooking with gas. Started off with 1 win themselves, and then have peeled off 5 straight wins to go 5-1, and tied with McDermott here. So that's what's in store. As I say, this is going to be a big one. Pretty well, you can almost put this as a, Game 7 of a, hockey playoffs for sure sort of mentality to it. Win to get in, possibly get in, and lose, you'll definitely be out. So lots in store. So there's going to be some pressure here on these teams, and I don't think they would want it any other way.
Nope, the Skips love the pressure. Both Brothers and Pinckney, they are in a must-win situation. along with Breen and McEvoy. Those 4 teams are at 3-3. Each of them need to win their games in order to at least assure themselves of a tiebreaker.
Of course, this is the Breen lineup change from last year. Hilliard was with the team. She actually threw 4th stone, and Breen, of course, skipped and threw 3rd rock. As we take a look at Marley Powers, Tanya Hilliard is no longer with the team, and from what I understand, going to concentrate on studies from what some of the curling folks, the curling aficionados around here have told me. And just like that, skip rocks here as we've had a clean in, lots of hits. McEvoy will come on up and get ready to throw the first of 2 for her.
Yes, Julie will be trying to come down and do a nose hit on this rock to force Teresa to try and blank the end by hitting her rock out after she hits and sticks.
See, I know I get that.
Lots of rotation on the rock thrown here by Julie McEvoy out of the CFB Curling Club.
Yes, lots of rotation is required when the ice is so quick. If you do not throw a lot of rotation, what is needed is a minimum of 3 rotations going down the ice. Otherwise, the rock has a chance to pick, and we all know what happens when a pick happens. The rock will go off in a certain direction, and then the shot will be missed. So rotation is very, very important in order to keep that rock online. And Julie just did that, making her shot a nice hit and stick.
So some teams, of course, as you mentioned, are pretty well must-win situation, and we've talked about this for these teams. But thing where I'm going with this is that some have decided, of course, have a little bit of a conservative start, not trying to get in too much of a pickle early, but right now the McDermott brothers team seems to, on sheet D, it's one of our other games, some more rocks in play there than there are on the other 2 remaining sheets. Right on for Breen. And with every nose hit, the rock moves further up because that rocks were at the back 12 and they're sort of creeping their way up. So every nose hit, of course, they get a little bit closer to the tee line. McEvoy.
McEvoy again will try to hit. She'll try to roll a little bit towards the center line to make Teresa's shot a little bit longer for her to do a hit and roll out, make the distance from the rock to out of the rings a little bit more difficult.
Of course, getting a good turnout as we're getting to the nitty-gritty, and we're right in with the crowd. So you'll hear a little bit of crowd reaction from the other games taking place. Final stone for McEvoy here without hammering in number 1.
A nice shot again by Julie, hitting and sticking. Now Teresa will be trying to blank this end, so she will try and hit just part of the yellow rock and roll out of the rings in order to keep the hammer.
Here's Marley Power.
Holding the broom for Teresa.
So very quiet first in, very safe defensive first in. Seconds away from coming in. Final stone here for Breen and in number 1, looking to blank and carry the hammer to 2.
Looking good. And job done.
Breen retains hammer as we head to 2. Both these teams sort of having sort of like similar seasons. As we look at the McEvoy team, 16 wins and 10 losses, and this is to the world curling rankings, and they've had some pretty good success and pretty good finishes. Defeated Jill Brother 6-5 at the Spitfire Arms Cash Spiel in Windsor, and that was back in November. And a third place finish, excuse me, at the New Scotland Clothing Ladies Cash Spiel, and that was in their backyard at their own club, which is the CFP Curling Club in Halifax.
Heading out is Jill, trying to throw, I believe, it looks like it might be a guard.
And we'll see the...
They're bringing it right in. Sorry.
Yeah. Bring that first one in. We'll see how Breen decides to play this, of course. 4-rock free guard zone. As we take a look at Amanda Simpson, and we said the similar paths that these teams have had. A second place runner-up finish at the Dave Jones Cash Spiel back in October, and they were winners of the Lady Mugtonian Invitational Spiel, winning 8-1 over Veronica Smith, and she curls out of Charlottetown. So they're doing very well in the Cash Spiel. So as I say, these two evenly matched teams, and it's really unfortunate that one of them is going to have to lose, but that's sport. One team's got to win and one team's got to lose. As we see Thomas of her second here and in number 2.
Teresa Breen was also, her team was also part of the Canadian Olympic Trials pre-qualifier, which was held in Charlottetown this year. They did quite well. I believe they finished 3-3 with their showing there. So that was quite the experience for them to go to the pre-qualifier trials.
So just as we kind of expected, still very defensive, still very not much in terms of offense so far. And
looks like we're getting a corner guard, so we might get some rocks in play with that rollout by Jill on that last shot. Now what Julie will try to do when she does her hit is she will most likely try to roll to the center line to produce a center line guard.
Sheena Moore in number 2. Still no score. Breen, McEvoy. A battle of 3 and 3s. Last draw at the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here on Bell 5 TV1. She's Nancy McConnery. My name's Dan Hobson. Glad you can join us here. It's a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, very warm outside, and it's all of a sudden the people who were probably storm stayed or maybe cold stayed have come out to the rink here tonight to watch our last draw. So good crowd on hand. Usually get a good crowd here for the evening games, but I've never seen it this packed for a 20-5 afternoon game.
Last draw of the round robin, very important. There's quite a few really good games that are going to be going on out here, so come on down and have a watch. It's going to be some good curling.
Yeah, and of course, with it being warm outside, warm up here, it's almost like to take it down ice level. You could stay up here and I'll go down there, do the one up, one down sort of thing they do in hockey these days. She says no.
I'm just fine. I am not cold.
Yeah.
Or I'm not hot either.
So her temperature's just right.
That's right.
I look like probably I just got out of a swimming pool, and I just jumped in. No swimming suit or anything, just clothes on, jumped in the pool and just got out.
TMI.
I'm not that bad.
Amanda's going to try and do a hit and stick here. Or sorry, that's Jocelyn. Jocelyn is going to try and do a hit and stick.
Nothing laid on it here by the front end.
It's running a little straight.
Bang, bang, and all of a sudden the house is clean once again. At the midway point here of end number 2.
Makes it hard for us to have something to talk about. So we'll have the rock here being drawn most likely into top 4.
Danielle Parsons, newest member on this team. But of course, we'll get to know the players throughout the broadcast, but has a really impressive curling resume.
Yes, Danielle was a great addition to this team. She's got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. She's been to a few Scotties, and she brings a lot to the team.
Now you talk about new additions. Here's the new addition. So both these teams have talked about how similar seasons they've had, similar record right now. Also a new member on this team, Marley Powers, playing third rock here for Team Breen. Hit and a slight roll. Will stay in the back 12.
Yes, very nice shot.
Almost a replay of the last in.
Hit and stick is required here. Don't want to give the other team any free draws.
Updating things on sheet D. Also, one of the games that Bell 5 TV1 is covering on the live stream right now. McDermott leading Brothers 2-0. And on sheet E, Pinckney versus Arsenault. Pinckney on the board of a single point as they play in 2. Exchanging shots here in 2. Slight scrubbing here by Adams. Pretty well right on.
Nice shot.
But this is also save some time if they need it for later on. And
Yes, it sure does. They're not using it much time. They basically know where to put the broom, so the skips are already on their way down before the rock has come to complete start. So they're getting a head start on their thinking time. So they're not using up much time, which is good because they're most likely going to need it in the later ends when things get a little more complicated and people are wanting to score some points.
you said that you were going to the seniors, of course, in February. You know some of the people in that field already, or you still waiting to figure things out on?
I'm still waiting to see who the field is, but we pretty well know who most of the players will be. Colleen Jones, who's here this weekend, she'll be there, and Colleen Pinckney has a senior team as well. She'll be at this seniors. From what I've heard, Teresa Breen may be taking Colleen Jones' place in the Jones team due to Colleen going to broadcast for CBC at the Olympics. So they are short a player, and I believe Teresa Breen will be filling in for her at third.
Yep,
so that will be a nice addition on that team for sure.
They made the strategic there to have Delahunt be the skip. It was they registered under the name Jones, but of course, as you say, with her going away, Nancy Delahunt will be, of course, doing the calling and holding the broom there in those at the seniors, and has here so far at the women's championship.
Yes, they'll be running the exact same positions they are here, with just a complete switch with Teresa filling in for Colleen's position at third.
Here's the aforementioned Teresa Breen from the Mayflower Curling Club.
who has been playing really well this weekend, or this week.
Yeah, we mentioned started with a loss to Pinckney, but then, of course, Isabel Ladouceur win over that and a loss to Marion Arsenault. So she's, after starting off 1-3 and now fighting her way back, hoping to pull out another W and pretty well go win 3 straight here. Try to get into that, go 4-3, and
yes, her
of
team's
course the
been
smoke will clear by the end of this draw.
her team's been playing very steady. The losses that they have had have been very close, so they're playing steady. So they'll be giving a good run to Julie and her team. Of course, both teams want to win. Again, it's do or die for both teams. The winner will move on, then the loser will have to sit back and watch.
Well, this will make Breen's last one pretty easy. Just throw it through the house, but it's not just a matter of just doing it. Just find a path to figure out maybe how the ice conditions or how something goes and use it to your benefactor later on in the game.
That's right. She'll choose a spot that she doesn't really know what the ice is doing and learn something from this shot rather than you just don't throw it away. You try and learn something from every shot you are throwing.
Or pretty well, just throw it sort of right down the middle. Easy light brushing here by Adams. So
yeah, nice throw. She'll get a 4 out of 4 on that one.
yeah, that's, I didn't learn until doing like the junior championships a few weeks ago that when you throw one of the rocks through, you don't get, like, it's not in terms of a score. You don't get penalized for it.
You don't get penalized for it. No, they don't count it towards your score. It just gets it's just as a non-thrown rock. Wow. You don't get a free 4 points out of it. So now we'll start over. I wouldn't be surprised now if they start putting some rocks in play. So I would think we'll be looking at a center guard right now for this shot coming up from Jill Thomas.
Let's get to meet Jill Thomas, the 42-year-old out of Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, the egg producer for Scotia Poultry Farm Limited, 2009 Nova Scotia Scotties provincial champion, and 2010 Nova Scotia Scotties provincial champion.
And Jill will be getting married this summer, I believe. Congratulations, Jill.
Curlers have no choice to get married in the summertime. They're too busy during the fall, winter to do anything else. So on the road to cash spiels, in the rink practicing, in the gym, traveling, as I said. Good time too.
Mm-hmm.
Weather's good. Doesn't affect travel. Updating Sheet B. Well, we got something in common with Sheet B. They've got blanks in 1 and 2. No score. Jones, Ladouceur. Couple of teams, of course, in the bottom of the lady standings. Jones 2 and 4. Ladouceur 0 and 6. Jones out of the Mayflower Curling Club and the Lakeshore Curling Club, the home of Ladouceur. Youngest team ever to qualify here for these Scotties, and take away maybe a handful of bad ends, and that's only been the decisive factor for Ladouceur, maybe having a little bit of a better record or a winning record here.
Yeah, it's just a miss here and a miss there, and the whole end gets turned around. They're playing with confidence, and they're coming along great. They're going to be a force to reckon with in years to come.
Yeah. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Getting some experience here. Playing some of these top teams as Yellowstone belong to McEvoy as they are trying to come around, and slight little brushing. So we may see things sort of, intensify in terms of offensive chances here for both of these teams as we play in number 3.
Yeah, it was a nice draw by Jill. keeping it right in front of the tee line. Nice spot.
Breen screaming, telling her front end to go by. Are they going to get by that one? Yes, they do.
Nice shot. Very nice.
Remove the yellow McEvoy stone and sit there in behind cover of that yellow stone belonging to McEvoy, and you know that it's close with Skip is, intensifying the showing intensity and screaming for her life.
Yeah, the sweepers worked really hard to get that by the rock. They did a great job.
Here's the 39-year-old Sheena Moore out of Bootleggers Point, Nova Scotia, and she's an architect at FBM Architecture Interior Design, 2015 Nova Scotia Mixed Doubles Champion, 2014 Nova Scotia Intermediate Provincial Champion, 2010 Nova Scotia Scotties Provincial Champion, and also again in 2009.
Yes, I know Jill and Sheena very well. They were my lead and second at the 2009-2010 Canadian Scotties Championships. Two very nice girls and very good curlers.
Jocelyn Adams. Breen came out, now going back. Front end working hard here of Simpson and Powers. Slide note. McEvoy hoping to get it out the rest of the way, but it will be a biter in the back 12. McEvoy going over her options here. Talking, of course, to the person who's going to throw the stone. And they're going to decide to make a play on the one in the back.
She'll leave that one in the top, just almost biting the house for later on to advance to hope either cut them down or try and make a steal. Still lots of rocks to come.
Sheena Moore with help from Thomas and Parsons.
Nice shot.
Punches it out.
Teresa will draw down to that back yellow one and use it for backing to make it a little more difficult to remove.
Asking Jocelyn Adams to do that shot with lots of rotation on the rock.
Freeze down to the back rock, yes.
But it's going out there.
Needs to curl. Looks like it might be a little warm.
A little warm, and seen some of them like they're trying to just see if they're just going a little off on her last couple of throws. It's might have to make an adjustment.
Yeah, that was just about a foot heavy. I think it's still shot, but it's still a good shot anyway. Julie has to deal with it because it's the blue is still sitting two, so she's going to come down and try and tap that one out and maybe roll a little towards the middle.
Talked about the newest member of the McEvoy team and her curling resume, the 27-year-old Halifax, Nova Scotia native Danielle Parsons. His occupational is a designer at Kent Building Supplies. 2007 Canadian Winter Games representing Nova Scotia. 2008 Nova Scotia Provincial Junior Champion. 2011 Nova Scotia Scotties Provincial Champion. And From 2012 to 2014, Nova Scotia Scotties provincial champion 2012, and then back-to-back for New Brunswick in 23 and 2014. Marley Powers, as we're in third rocks here in threes. No score. Breen, McEvoy in a battle of 3-3 teams. Final draw here at the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
We have another update on Sheet E. Arsenault scored 1 point in the second end, so that game is now tied up 1-1 with Pinckney having the hammer in 3. That was a nice draw. Almost frozen to the back yellow one. So once again, Breen is sitting 2.
Breen sitting 2, and as you see with the icon in the corner of your screen, has hammer here. Slight brushing here by Moore. And punches it out. Rolls just a little to the wings.
And avoids the jam, which was nice. Very nice shot by Sheena.
As you mentioned, shot rock belonging to Breen. Front 4.
Yes, those little yellow biters on the sides aren't causing too much concern for Teresa. She's actually able to use them for backing, which she's hoping to get some kind of a jam to keep her rock still in play.
Marley Powers. Breen say go. Now she'll get in. Relieve one of the sweepers and comes to a stop in the front 12.
It's hard to tell which is second shot, either the blue one just thrown or the yellow one. But Julie probably can't take a chance, so she's going to hit it out. It may have come up just to the right spot in order to make a hit and a roll over to the blue rock that's shot in the 4-foot. She, of course, while doing that, will have to be careful of the jam on the yellow rocks, because she'll want to at least stay second shot here. If not, make the double and sit buried and shot rock.
Jones, Delahunt team, single point in 3. 1-0 over Ladysor as they play the 4th. So this is end, of course, is a little different than the first two. First two pretty defensive, trying to get a feel of things. Now more rocks in play this end, and
yeah, it's great having rocks in play.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot more exciting for the fans and for us.
Yeah, and of course, all of a sudden the strategy gets in, and as McEvoy throws here in 3. More Thomas going hard.
Just over curled on her a touch, but she's left her rock in not too bad of a position.
Breen and Powers have a slight sidebar here. Weigh their options here. Sit 2 right now. Some protection.
She'll probably want to get rid of that yellow one and either roll right in front of her blue one at the back 4 or roll completely over and sit 2 underneath the behind the yellow guard on the center line. she's potentially setting herself up for a 3-ender here.
Taking good amount of time. It's just past 5 o'clock here in Atlantic Canada, standard time. Draw number 7 here on Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. 7th and final draw, as I mentioned. These teams that you're watching here are 3-3. Pretty well win and could set you out for a tiebreaker depending on what goes on the other sheets, and that's why we are really active in keeping everybody up to date on what's going on, especially on sheet E with Pinckney and Arsenault. Arsenault is at 5-1. Her and McDermott are tied at 5-1. Of course, our other game on D, being covered by TV1, sees Brothers and McDermott. And McDermott now 2-1 over Brothers. They play in 3. Simpson already waving some sign language there to Powers. Powers, you could hear her.
It needs to curl up. It looks like it's going to get a jam here.
Yeah, punches. Pushes one of the yellows towards the back, so blue stone there for Breen. Was sitting 2, now sits 1, and
Yep, so Julie has, it looks like 2 options. She can either tap back her yellow one. She can draw around the outside with the intern to try and tap the blue one back, but it looks like she's lining up the tap back on her yellow on center line. That was an unfortunate mistake that the Breen team had. Their rock just didn't seem to curl. I guess maybe just the up weight. The rock just ran pretty straight, and she got the unfortunate jam.
Adams had the hand up right away as soon as it was gone, and out of the hand there
So she
upon release, so they pretty well knew right away. But
so she may have set it out a bit. We can't really tell from up here, but if the hand went up right away, it was probably a little full. And the ice here today with any type of weight, C, is very unforgiving. You need to throw them very clean in order to get the results you're looking for.
and looking at that yellow one, maybe trying to raise it, push it in, and
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're trying. They're just probably trying to decide what type of weight to throw. Again, you can't throw too much weight because, as you just saw on Teresa's rock, they hang. So she's probably going to try to be throwing like possibly hack to board weight just to try to push that rock back and out through the back. And then they would be sitting 3 yellow, and Teresa would be forced to do a draw to the button for her 1 point.
there is the 39-year-old Julie McEvoy out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, biomedical technologist at IWK Health Center, 2014 Nova Scotia Intermediate Provincial Champion, and 2017 Canadian Scotties participant, went as a 5th for Mary Madichal, who is the 5th on this team as well.
Final shot for Julie McEvoy coming down. Needs to curl up a bit.
Giving a little bit of traffic direction.
Yeah. Just.
Was more.
This game is a game of inches. Had to curl up another fraction of an inch in order to make that shot. So Teresa Breen has a draw. Or actually, as we can see, she's got a hit for 3. The game really turns around with one shot and another. Back and forth. So a nose hit would enable Teresa Breen's team to score 3 in the 3rd end.
There it is too, and of course it's just right in the bottom of your screen, the one that they're going to make the play on in the back 12. Of course, knows it for the 3, as Nancy mentioned. As we look at the final stone here for Teresa Breen of the Mayflower Curling Club. Communication, hand signals from the front end here.
It's looking pretty good.
Simpson, Adams. There it is, the hit, the stick for 3.
That breaks the game wide open. So you'll be probably looking at a lot of rocks in play as Julie will be trying to get her 2 to get back in the game this next end.
So after blanks in 1 and 2, Breen with hammer scores 3 as we head to the 4th here at draw number 7 on Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts on Bell 5 TV1.
Teresa Breen will be trying to keep it clean now that she's up 3, so you'll probably see Amanda throw the first rock into the 4-foot, and then we will see Julie throw up some corner guards, try to get some rocks in play and to get her 2 back, to get herself back into the game.
Here is the lead of Team Breen. Amanda Simpson and Nova Scotia Scotties finalist in 2015, a semi-finalist 2016, 2017, and Nova Scotia semi-finalist, as I mentioned. New Brunswick junior semi-finalist in 2005 and 6. New Brunswick under 18s champion in 2005, and Atlantic under 18s finalist back in 2005.
And as suspected, Jill is throwing up a corner guard.
Yep, first one into the house, ignored. Corner guard, Jill Thomas. As this one makes its way down, update everybody on sheet E. Colleen Pinckney. And taking a lead on Arsenault as they play the 4th, 2-1. Single point by Pinckney in 1, and Arsenault follow with a single back in 2, and teams exchange 1s as they play the 4th. Pinckney, of course, was the coach of the Team Gamble team, and that's is the team. Christy Gamble moved out to Saskatchewan, and she's actually competing in the Saskatchewan playdowns. Pinckney just jumped in, decides to coach the team and also be calling the game. Veach and McPhail, of course, are remaining team members, and they're hoping to keep their playoff hopes alive, coming in 3-3 against Arsenault 5-1. Still 2-1 McDermott Brothers. Play continues on that one. Slight cleaning here by the front end of Warren Parsons.
And Jill trying a little hit and roll to get behind the guard. And hopefully stick around in the raise, and she does. Nice shot.
And try to finish the best that you can game between Jones and Ladouceur. Jones 2-4, Ladouceur 0-6. Timeout there. Jones still leading 1-0. They play the 4th. There's Jocelyn Adams, and you can hear the intensity, ice level. Goes hard. They get the hit. And the roll.
With both rocks behind the tee line, Julie will, as indicated, go behind the corner guard, try to set herself up for getting a 2 this end. This end.
Adams was a Nova Scotia Scotties finalist back in 2015, semi-finalist in 2016, 2017, and a New Brunswick junior finalist in 2000, a semi-finalist 2004, 5, 06, and 09. As well as competed in the Atlantic under 18s and was a finalist and a champion. Finalist 2005, champion 2006.
Hoping for this rock to stop.
It will put the brakes on,
Just
stay in.
We're getting lots of curl inside out. That one over curled past the guard, so it's open for Teresa to remove.
Adams once again on some big weight here in number 4.
They might try and roll out here because they don't want to leave any rocks in the back of the house for Julie to use as backers for... they stuck around.
Nice little skip to my loo there by Simpson to avoid the Yellowstone right in front of the house.
Yeah, and Julie will be... The rock actually stayed in play, so she can... if she gets her rock in a good position, she sets it up to probably jam on it if they try to take it out of the rings.
Sheena Moore. Light brushing from Thomas. Trying to come around that yellow one. They have a beautiful shot here.
Very nice.
Right on the tee line. And covered up. And says, let's just get rid of that guard. And we'll put that into the hands of Marley Powers, team 3rd, Nova Scotia under 18 champion in 2009, Optimist champion also in 2009 under 18, Canada Winter Games finals in 2006, and Nova Scotia Sport and Athletic Federation, also known as the NSSAF provincial champions in 2008 and 9.
There was a for Team Breen.
3 blue handle stones back behind the tee line, but all clumped together. There's that yellow stone by McEvoy, as you see, he is covered, so.
They'll be trying some type of a double to end up positioning themselves to be sitting 2 after this shot.
Tried to eavesdrop on their conversation. Got little bits and pieces. Danielle Parsons. Throws a missile here in 4. More Thomas. Just punches one of the blues and can't keep that yellow stone just thrown.
Yeah, with the extra weight again, it just ran straight.
She's saying a little less than half, so.
She's calling the freeze down onto the yellow. Gonna try and take that yellow rock out of play.
So far, Simpson Adams. Spectators. Now they get in on it. That's Adams. Adams to your left. Simpson to your right. And they'll sit back 8.
Julie's probably liking the all the backing she has. She'll try and hit 1 or 2 of them out and sit on top of the other and use it for backing.
Yeah, Breen has 3, but they're not really 3 anything that's of benefit. As you said, backing here. Danielle Parsons.
She might be trying the around the horn shot, get 3 of them going, moving.
You hear them saying hard. 1, and that's Oh, they get. Almost got right onto the lid of that other bluestone as it rolled over, but there is a little separation.
Yeah, Teresa looks like is being forced to freeze down to it because it looks like it's a pretty tough shot to eliminate without taking out one of their own shots. So they're going to freeze down to it and hopefully hold Julie to one this end.
I know they come and took a good look at it, see if they could punch it out, but as you say, risky. That rock belonging to McEvoy, and as Nancy said, Breen will come down and try to freeze right to it. That's why sometimes rocks behind the tee line not really your friends, and this is basically exhibit A of that story.
Yeah, the rocks behind the tee line are just friends of the team with the hammer.
Let's meet Teresa Breen. She was the Sandra Schmerler Foundation past chair in 2017, Nova Scotia Scotties Finals 2015 and 2011. A semi-finalist in 2016-2017, mixed champions third in 2011, CA Olympic Curling Trials fourth, and four-time Ontario Scotties champion, a two-time Scotties finalist, and a four-time Arch as well. Impressive curling resume.
Teresa just came up a little short there. So Julie has a few options. Probably going to try to draw around the outside of the rock. Maybe come down to the, try to come down to the face of hers.
McDermott with another single point on sheet D on one of our other games that we've got cameras covering. 3-1. They play the fourth. Still 2-1 Pinckney over Arsenault as they play the fourth. In the meantime, McEvoy and Parsons conversing. McEvoy with hammer would love to get back here in this one with a two spot here in the fourth. Sorry, go ahead.
Two would be really, really good for Julie. It will get her back in the game, and again, we'll end up seeing more rocks in play. The ends won't be open, so it'll be really nice to see Julie get back in the game, and have this game come down to the wire, being a very game with both teams at 3-3, with a must-win for each team involved.
Mentioned it off the top here, the slow start that they got off to an 0-2 and then a win over Pinckney to go to 1-2. And now they've gotten two straight wins after a loss to McDermott here. As we take a look at the stone thrown here by the CFB Curly McEvoy. They have a little bit of cardiac kid in them. Set there, just a top 12.
Guard on their shot rock, but she would have preferred to be just biting the forefoot. But at least she has the guard on her shot rock, and Teresa is forced to take a new path going down the opposite side of the rink to draw into the forefoot.
We'll change the turn for her on this one.
Teresa getting ready to throw her draw. She's had her draw weight in her pocket all week.
Having lots of success there on the World Curling Tour. going to cash spiels and bond spiels. 21 wins and 14 losses. Team Breen out of the Mayflower Curling Club with her final rock without the hammer here.
They've indicated that it might be a little warm, a little heavy. So that with the good communication, saying that she needs the backing.
Just give us a little touch to that blue one, push back.
So Julie just needs to follow her down, and she will pick up her 2.
Yeah, this is the thing. She had a chance to see this path, weight, pretty well just the same shot that Breen just tried to play. So,
and again, she can't be, even though she does have backing, she can't be too heavy because with any weight at all, the rock tends to run a little straighter. So you've got to throw the right weight and hit the broom. That's all you have to do. Doesn't sound tough, but it is.
16 wins and 10 losses. Also on the World Tour this season here for Team Julie McEvoy at the CFB Curling Club as she throws her final stone here in end number 4. Thomas, Moore, going hard, trying to see if they can get enough mustard or gas to punch that blue one out.
And it's a great shot.
And gives it just a slight touch.
2 yellow.
4-2 as we head to 5.
Brings the McEvoy team back into the game. And we should see in the 5th end as they proceed, Julie will most likely throw up a center guard to start things off.
Slight conversation there with McEvoy and Parsons. Just where they want to go in terms of a game plan here as we come to the 5th end. So close in the regular season, so close in the World Curling Tour, and they are so close here in the standings at 3-3 at these championships. As we play in number 5 here at the Draw 7, Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here on Bell 5 TV1. Breen has the hammer here in 5, and she's throwing the blue stones.
We have an update on Sheet B with the Jones-Ladouceur game. Ladouceur scored 1 in the 4th to tie the game up at 1-1, with Jones now having the hammer in the 5th. That's quite the matchup there on Sheet B, with the Jones team being the, not anything bad about it, but they're the oldest participants here at the Scotties, and they're playing the youngest participants at the Scotties. So that's quite an eventful competition there between those two teams. Great experience for the Ladouceur team to be playing such a veteran team as the Jones team.
You probably told them if they were youngsters, hey, you're going to play in a game against that Jones team. They probably wouldn't believe it, but then, well, here it is, a reality. What a way to finish it off here. May not have gone their way they would have liked here, the Ladouceur team at a Lakeshore Curling Club, but definitely an honor to play that really good team.
Yeah, they're holding their own. They're playing. They're keeping their spirits high. Very nice junior team. They'll be going places.
Yeah, we'll hear from them in the future years. So Breen, of course, puts the first rock in the house, and a guard by McEvoy. And they're going to try to come around and just punch out. They just give a slight touch, and can they get a piece of that blue? Yep, but not a lot of it.
Very nice come around, though. Keeping the rocks in front of the tee line so they're in position to be used later on in the end.
Amanda Simpson. Hand up already, not much in terms of cleaning done here. Adams, slight brushing. Little touch of that blue stone.
There's very late finish on the draws. If you've thrown the right weight, T-line weight, the rock does begin to bend. It seems halfway between the hog and the house. So if you just wait for it, then you will get some finish. But again, you have to have the right weight in order to finish. Otherwise, it just will keep sailing straight through.
Sheena Moore as we are moving along here, getting close to the halfway point of this one in the 5th in break.
Should be trying to get a nose hit here.
Well around those yellows.
And execution, perfect.
Bang, bang to the blues, and one of them goes, and the other one comes with a little bit of cover, but Breen lies 1 and McEvoy 2 and 3. Pinckney Arsenault now tied at 2 as they play the 5th. And McDermott 4-1 as they play the 5th. Adams all by itself here. Removes the yellow rock.
Very nice shot. Julie once again will be trying to get a nose hit and keep her rock in the 4-foot zone.
Moore once again has to punch this one out. And does.
Very nice, leaving her rock in the control zone.
Breen asking for a hit and roll. Based upon the call that I've seen. We'll see how well this can get executed here by Jocelyn Adams. Well, she get a piece of that blue. Yeah, she'll punch the blue out. Yellow goes as well.
That was a little bit of a bad break for her. She threw the rock well, and it just didn't come up for her.
It's almost the way I think probably McEvoy wanted to play it. It's like, okay, you want to play around here. Of course, could risk losing one of those blues, and that became a reality. So maybe it might have been a plan B. Of course, they'll know, we won't. But all of a sudden, things look a little bit more better for them.
Yes, as they're sitting now, McEvoy does have her rocks in good scoring position to try and steal against Breen in the 5th. We're into 3rd rocks with Danielle Parsons throwing her first in the 5th end. Trying to do a hit and roll So, and land her rock in behind her center guard.
Breen 3rd ranked in the province, McEvoy 4th ranked in the province. Not a surprise that they're pretty well with the same record here at the championships. And it's a close game, as you can see, 3-2 as we play the 5th. Just joining us, Breen blanked 1st and 2nd in. Breen scored 3 with Hammer in the 3rd, and McEvoy bounced back with 2 with Hammer in the 4th. If you just joined us here on Bell 5 TV 1, Marley Powers hoping to clean things up. We'll just open up a little bit of a path, but sets up a little staggered guard situation here. One yellow lonely stone in the house belonging to McEvoy.
And Danielle asked to put up another center guard to guard that rock that's in the top 8 foot.
Danielle Parsons. Of course, the front end right on it right away.
You just have to wait for it. It should start curling anytime now. Coming over towards the center line. Oh, nice guard.
Protects that shot rocked. Breen just wants it just removed. The one that just came to a finish there from the hands of Daniel Parsons. Asking Marley Powers to throw big weight at it and get it out of harm.
They're staggered a little bit, so she's hoping to get the double.
Gonna try to run it back. It gets a piece. Can that yellow one be completely removed? Nope. We'll just go to the 12-foot area in front of the tee line.
They got it off the 4 foot or out of the center line area. And now Julie's going to try to make her rock even better than that one. Try to get this right into the 4 foot. And then if she stays in front of the tee line, Teresa will be forced possibly to do raise back on the rock that Marley had just thrown. You always have to be thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead in these games. The skips do.
As you see, a pretty good crowd on hand in the background. Good upstairs as well. As we're in the skip rocks here. Friday evening, the Dartmouth Curling Club, Bell 5 TV, what's coverage of the 2018, Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Now starting to dig in. Can they get around? Try to get her buried as much as possible. That'll come to a rest there in the back 4.
Yeah, it just slipped a little too far, a little further than Julie would have liked, but still, needless to say, it's still a nice draw. She's still in the 4 foot, but it allows Teresa to draw down to it and be counting shot if she gets down to the face of the rock that Julie just threw.
Well, it had the social media saying about this game being really important, really intense, and it has lived up to its expectations here. Close one here as we're a few stones away from that 5th in break. As we see the young Marley Powers holding the broom here for Breen on as we are moving on and hoping that get good results here with Breen as she gets ready to throw some stones here in the 5th. With her first of 2 on its way. Teresa Breen out of the Mayflower Curling Club. You can just see It's it. I wanting to, fan it out, try to get it cooled off. Trying to talk to it.
It's not moving. It's just a little bit warm.
It goes by, gets nothing, so advantage McEvoy.
She'll try to do the same thing again and maybe just touch the forefoot with this rock and be a quarter buried to make it difficult for Teresa to get in there for shot rock. Being down one, she wants to try and steal anything she can get.
Line 2 already without hammer here in 5. McEvoy out of the CFB Curling Club, throwing her final stone here in 5. Seem to be okay with it. Front in, slight brushing. McEvoy's got the heads on to put the brakes on. Now she's swinging her arms, say whoa off, and they finally go off here.
Oh, they just opened the door for Breen.
So Breen opened the door for them, and it just got swung back out the other way.
Yeah, they're handing it back and forth. But still, it's still a win for McEvoy if you hold Breen to 1. That would have been their original goal at the beginning of this end. To hold Breen to 1, and then hopefully they will get their 2 and 6, and then the game would be tied. But Breen still has to throw her shot, and she still has. This spot seems to be a little tricky. Both of them, they weren't getting any curl on their two shots. So Breen does have to get some curl, otherwise she may give up a steal of 1.
Updating sheet B. The Delahunt team leading 2-1. As Jones got a single point, or Delahunt got a single point in the 5th in. 2-1. Final stone here for Teresa Breen. Front in, Amanda Simpson, Jocelyn Adams. Breen saying no.
Doesn't seem to be curling for her.
Just a single.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to that spot. It just doesn't want to move over. So a nice steal for McEvoy. She'll be happy with that. As they head to the 5th end break, tied at 3.
So, of course, we're going to step out for a break here, and we'll be back with the second half of this one. 3-3 was promised to be tight, and it will be. As we head to the 6th end, we'll be back with it in about 4.5 minutes here on Bell 5 TV1's coverage. Draw 7, Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
No, she threw less on that. She's a little all over the board right
you guys. Yeah, I guess. I didn't even hear Danielle yelling on that one. I started screaming, but you guys weren't screaming. It was so loud. On the double. No. We were. Yeah.
Who was it that just kicked the ball? I would like to see it.
I was wondering.
Well, that one will go a lot. After that, it'll go a lot. There's a reason for it. Okay. Anyway, what do we got? You don't move it.
Yeah, fingertips.
Good focus on your eyes.
Tightish.
You're above where you're supposed to be.
We have no extra. I'm throwing.
So,
Yeah.
It's fitting that two teams that are 3-3 coming into tonight are tied at threes as we begin the end here. Draw number 7 of the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here on Bell 5 TV1. My name is Dan Hobson, joined alongside here by Nancy McConnery and the Bell 5 TV1 crew, and our producer is Chuck Calder. A little under the weather today, so efforts in bringing you this one. And of course, it is a draw 7, the final one here on the women's side. Of course, if you're just joining us, Marianne Arsenault and McDermott are at 5-1, and 4 other teams at 3-3, and you're seeing 2 of them here. The other one, of course, Brothers and Payne and Jones Ladisor are playing each other there in a in a 7th versus 8th battle. So, getting back to focus on this one. If you just joined us, have a couple of blanks to report there in the first and second in. Breen had the hammer and blanked those 2. Scored 3 in the third, and McEvoy scored 2 in the fourth. And seconds ago, McEvoy stole 1 to tie things at 3. Dan Hobson, as I mentioned, alongside Nancy McConnery. So, in for a whale of a finish. Pretty well sums it up.
Yeah. Turning into a very exciting game. So everybody stay tuned. We're going to bring you some great commentary from these 2 great teams that we are watching this afternoon.
We're right back to where we started from. The teams, of course, even Steven playing the 6. Breen has the hammer, throwing the blue stones. And, of course, Marianne Arsenault starting to break away from Pinckney as they play in number 6, 4-2 as they play the 6th. And McDermott leading Brothers. Brothers got a single point for the 5th end break. They're at the 5th end break. 4-2. As the throw is on its way here and in number 6 from Amanda Simpson. Punches out the yellow. That was the top. Didn't jam the one on the back.
Sheena being asked to hit this one at the top 12, possibly just sit right there line after the shot is complete. She wants to stick around so that she doesn't allow the Breen team chance to draw around their corner guard, which they've put up. But she also has to avoid the jam at the back on her back yellow rock. And Sheena executes it perfect.
Jocelyn Adams there getting ready to throw here in 6. See, probably plenty more rocks in play here the second half of this one. Lots in stake for a couple teams I mentioned that are 3-3. This one got a lot of giddy up on it. No brushing there by Simpson and Powers. And they get that to the wings and out. Simpson giving it a little extra scrub. Will go to the side. As you see, makes things a little less cluttered there.
Julie not liking that corner guard, wants to give herself a center, so she's going to try and hit this blue corner and finish on the center line. Sheena's originally from Parry Sound, Ontario, and I'm sure her parents are watching faithfully on Bell TV1. I'd like to say hi to them. Hi to Sheena's parents from Nancy McEvoy.
Just go a little bit heavier probably than what they wanted, but we'll go to. So leaves the lonely yellow McEvoy stone in the back. But Breen will just ignore it for the meantime.
She has to be careful not to curl here. If she over curls, she may tap Julie's rock in for second point. We haven't done much rock throwing from inside out, so the curl has been a little bit more than outside in, so they'll have to be careful with their line.
Breen will jump in.
But it looks like
relieve Simpson.
Looks like they're getting around. That's fine.
And we'll put the brakes on the back 8.
Very close. Can't really tell who is shot. They're two close rocks. But Julie's not going to take a chance, and she's going to get rid of it.
And she'll put it in the of Danielle Parsons. Jill Thomas with the lightest of lightest cleans you'll ever see. Pushes that one. Might have been a little bit more nervous moments there, but spun by, didn't touch that one in the back as it goes out of play.
I guess Teresa's deciding that it's a little late in the end to try to get anything going, so she's going to get rid of this rock. Asking Marley to hit and stick.
And bang on, 8 foot.
Nicely done.
Back 8. And not wasted any time, these teams are. Already in the hack, ready to throw Parsons. The teams exchange shots in the back of the house in N6. Get a little bit of a roll, and as you mentioned, Breen, of course, says it's getting late. Just gonna ask Powers to Remove at Yellowstone, just thrown there by Persians. Marley Powers. Simpson Adams on it already.
Yeah, they want to make sure they stick around, stay in play.
Powers yelled hard, and
No problem.
they did a good job of keeping that one in line. Simpson and Adams earning a little bit of pay of hard work on that one. And a chuckle between the two. Just off camera, just in a little bit of the corner of the camera, you might have been able to see it.
By throwing the down weight, you bring the sweepers into play, so then it makes it a team shot, with the sweepers helping to keep that rock on line to allow it to stay in play with a nice hit and roll.
Skip Rocks, Sixton. CFB Curling Clubs, Julie McEvoy. Started off 0-2. It's gone on a good streak here. Go 3-3. Removes it. Yellowstone in the back. Breen will just head up ice.
And Julie's keeping play on the opposite side of the guards, so Teresa doesn't have a chance to do any hit and rolling behind her guards, so keeping the play open as well and not allowing Teresa to get two shots this. 2 rocks, 2 points.
Housekeeping for both of these teams has been fantastic here. Nothing in terms of picks so far in this one, and I hope I didn't jinx them by saying that.
They're all throwing good rotation. They've all got clean brooms, and they don't have any carpet fibers really to worry about here at the club, so hopefully you didn't do any jinxing.
Feel a lot better, thank you. Nose hit. Up and down we go here in 6.
Julie coming down, wanting to hit and stick to not allow Breen to have another chance at a free throw through the house.
Over on sheet B, Jones Del Hunt team. Single point in 6-3-1 over Ladouceur. Ladouceur 0-6, Jones 2-4. Here's the hit and roll out, so Breen, who's already through one through the house, has, of course, another path she chooses to desire to throw this one through on her last here in 6.
Both teams will be back at it in the 7th.
Third blank of the game here. See, that will go sail through and hit. Breen maintaining the hammer here at the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. 3-3.
And the teams will regroup. And Breen will be trying to get to this end, and McEvoy will be trying to either steal one or hold Breen to 1 point.
As the chess match between these two teams continue here Friday evening. Dartmouth Curling Club A final day of round robin competition for both the women's and the men's. Men's coming up at 8 o'clock. On this sheet, we'll have a dandy between Stuart Thompson and Jamie Murphy. Murphy, of course, 5-1 heading into the 7th draw. Stuart Thompson, 3-3. Puts that one right on the lid there. Breen, the Bluestones, has a hammer here in 7. We'll see how things go in this end. Amanda Simpson already going to make a play on that Yellowstone, so it looks like they'll exchange shots. Maybe hope for a little bit of a roll, but it will be just a nose hit.
Looks like we're going to have another open end.
Yeah, anything you could do, I could do better, so here we go. Not wasting any time.
Until there's a rollout, we probably won't see any guards come up. It'll be just speed back and forth with the hits.
There it is, the hit. Right on center line, 8-foot area. So blanks in 1, 2, and 5 here, and
1, 2, and 6.
1, 2, 6, yes. I didn't write it down. Bad note taking. There we go.
Another nice hit and roll by Amanda Simpson.
Getting a little bit further away from the center line, bringing it a little closer to the corner and the wings.
It's always nice to change the shot for the opposition so you don't give them the same shot just after seeing your shot.
Warren Parsons
Is going to try to roll back to the center.
may roll out here. Breen right on top of it. Will it spin back? Nope, well out. And out of play.
Oh, and here comes the corner, so the game is on.
You said it, like wait till there's a sort of like a missed shot, and here we go. Comes in the halfway point here of this 7th inning. Jocelyn Adams being asked by Breen to throw up a corner guard. This needs to put the brakes on soon. And it just.
Nice shot. Julie will like to hit and roll in on this one. She doesn't want to leave any guards out front for Teresa to be drawing around.
Thomas Parsons. And they'll roll that yellow stone of theirs that they just threw into the house to sit the top 12, July 1.
Perfect execution. Nice shot.
Now here we go once again with, exchanging shots. That's how the end started. As they that yellow. Nose hit. Now Breen lies one. Schist there in the rings. Daniel Parsons. Getting ready to throw here as we're into the third stones. In 7. Still 3-1 Jones, Delahunt team over Lattiser. McDermott 4, Brothers 2 on D. And 4-2 Arsenal over Pinckney. McDermott and Arsenal coming into today's game 5-1, hoping to finish 6. So some of these teams that are the 3-3 teams not liking the results so far, with McDermott and Arsenal leading their respective games. Marley Powers.
Needing to scrub hard to ground, even touch the rock. And she just does.
It just punched just enough just to get it out. But you could tell that it was sort of offline. Powers was yelling, telling him to go hard, and the front end there of Simpson and Adams did go hard just enough just to get a little piece of that yellow and just push it out. Just enough.
Into skip rocks. Julie will try and throw this right on the top 4. Bring the play back to center and make the blank end a little tougher for Teresa Breen.
McEvoy gets in there with Moore to help sweep the rock there. Last few brushes. Back to where we were with how this end sort of started there. We had rocks, just one lonely rock there right along the center line, and pretty well the same again.
Yeah, the lead really dictates the way the end sets up, and Jill just happened to slip into the rings on her first shot, so that caused the game to be hit.
Yeah.
So hopefully next end Jill puts up her center guard, and then we'll have a game to play.
Nose hit just barely on the edge of the 12-foot. Skip rocks on its way here.
Julie will like to try to hit this just a little on the outside edge and try and roll in behind her guard that's guarding the far edge of the 12-foot to force Teresa to have to draw to take her one.
Getting into the late stages here in draw 7, the late stages here in the Robin portion here for the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. McEvoy. Can she hang the shooter around? No.
Her rock over curled on her. I think she would have preferred to roll. Oh, see, there's 2 more rocks to come, so I guess that's why she was trying to roll the other way. So now Teresa will try and use that lone yellow corner guard, try and sneak around it. So Julie has a tougher shot to try to get it out.
Yeah, that one by Marley Power. She just punched out that yellow one just enough. So.
Now they're able to use it.
Yeah, exactly. So
it turned out to be actually a very good shot.
Yeah, but they probably didn't think so at the time. As they were just trying to hold it here as we're into the first of 2 here in 7. Trying to get it out in the wings and get a little bit of coverage. Dragging it, Simpson all by herself. It'll be the 12-foot area, but open.
Didn't want to finish for her. Update on B between Jones and Ladisor drew for 1 in the 7th end. So the score there sits at Jones 3, Ladisor 2, and Jones now has the hammer in 8.
Yep, the young team having fun playing against that veteran team and giving them a game here in the final for them. Of course, Jones came in 2-4, Ladisor 0-6. Out of the playoff contention right now. Last rock here for Julie McEvoy.
Trying to hit and stick, force Teresa to hit. And she overcurls and rolls out, allowing Teresa once again to throw her final shot through the rings.
Blank in 1 and 2, and a blank in 6. All the scoring came in the middle of this one so far. Points in 3, 4, and 5 after a blank in 1 and 2. Breen scored 3 with the hammer in end number 3. McEvoy bounced back with 2 in the 4th. And a steal before the 5th end break. Final rock from Breen on its way. A blank in end number 7. Off we go to end number 8 with Breen maintaining the hammer at the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament Hearts on Bell 5 TV1. If starting to break away from Pinckney. 5-2, playing the 7th. McDermott 4, Brothers 2. And for those teams that are, of course, in the hunt, those 3-3 teams, not the news that they want to hear. Arsenault and McDermott at 5-1, with the potential to finish 6-1. So showing that this one is important because we said Breen and McEvoy at 3-3. So this could be really important because Pinckney now and Brothers could be looking at a 3-4 record. So winner of this one could jump in to be in that 3rd place standing all by himself. If the script that's going on the other sheets remained the way that it is now. So here we are in the 8th, 3-3.
And Jill throwing a perfect center guard. Called and asked for.
So we take a look once again at Amanda Simpson here. And, well, with 4 blanks in this and really nothing, what I'm trying to say is nothing really in terms of a missed shot here by either of these teams. It's been a solid one. It may not be as pretty as people would like with lots of offense, but definitely not really much in terms of big missed shots of the teams.
Yeah, it's a big game for both teams. Neither one's wanting to take any huge chances.
Breen, Powers, and Adams come together to get that by and stop in the 8-foot area. Throw the guard, bring that one deep. It's almost like even though the game is tied, both of them are like in defend mode. I've seen this like with the Arsenal Ladisor game earlier. Arsenal got a in the first, and this had pretty well cruised away to a victory. But it seemed like that they'll play the almost as if you're like got a lead, but both teams of course tied as we play the 8th. Sort of that type of strategy. as this will come into the rings.
A little bit light. She wanted to be top 4. Wasn't curling for them, so they didn't sweep it.
Simpson taking a good amount of time here, where she throws this rock here in 8. And this one, sweepers just looking easily by that one, trying to give it some direction of where to go. Stage straight, just a little slight roll, and 2 blue stones of Breen pretty well close together, hand in hand.
She's got a. She's calling a freeze to the blue rock in the 8-foot, or she also is suggesting a come around those two since they are a little staggered. So Danielle has come down and they're going to discuss which option they prefer better. Both are good calls. Any call is a good call if you make it. So all they'll need to do is have Sheena make this shot, and it'll be the right call.
Won't be able to really hear the conversation of how they want to execute or what they want to do for their shot. Brothers fighting back 4-3. Sheet D. They play the 7th. Timeout being called.
Time out at C.
You'll see the coach, Bruce Lonis. He's, what do you say, maybe about 5 feet away from our broadcast location, maybe a little more than that. We'll make his way down.
Bruce Lonis is a very busy man this weekend. He is also involved with the Jamie Murphy team. He's coaching them as well. Bruce just loves the game and loves to coach.
Gentleman there right in center of your screen with the red sweatshirt.
Very knowledgeable, experienced curler in his own.
Of course, teams have 2 timeouts to use, and this is the first one here of this game. This coach is Jeff Wilson. Sometimes coaches, due to work schedules, may not be able to make it, but not here is Wilson right now. So the Breen team, just the foursome there on the side of the sheet, as you see in the corner of your screen.
Planning their strategy for whatever the McEvoy team is going to throw. And they've opted to clear the guard out front.
Well, that's the safe approach, I guess. So this Rube.
Probably hoping to catch one of the blue ones on the way through.
Hey, try to
Run it straight back.
Yep, straight back, run back here for Sheena Moore. Well, just open things up, and 2 blue stones on top of the 12, but easily accessible. But we'll see what Team Breen has in store on this throw here. Jocelyn Adams getting ready. Because of the amount of hits and blanks here, both teams doing well in the time category. As you see in the corner, 15:30 for Breen and 11:57 the McEvoy team, so time not an issue right now for them.
No, both teams have plenty of time, so they don't have to worry about time right now. It's not an issue, which is always nice. You don't like to be fighting against the clock.
Some of those blues, and it's a little separation. So the Breen force them out of the Mayflower Curling Club, lying free here in the middle of the 8th. McEvoy's saying there's too many blues in there, let's get rid of some. Moore being asked to get rid of some here.
She'll, of course, be hoping to get a double of some kind.
1-2, punches it out. There you go.
Very nice shot.
And cleaning things up on a nice shot there with Sheena Moore out of the CFB Curling Club. Making things. So once again, we've had pretty well a clean game. Of course, I mentioned 4 blanks. This end clean as well. After that nice one there by Moore. Getting rid of some blue shrapnel. Breen coming out to help here.
Yeah, she really needs to get this rock into the house
Breen.
in order to secure her 2 points.
Yep. Simpson also gets in and was thinking about getting off it, but now all 3 ladies there with their heads down, brooms, picking them up and putting them down and giving the scrub to get it there in the 12-foot area.
And good job on those sweepers. Julie will be trying, first of all, a hit and hopefully flop in front of that blue one, or if she can hit it thin enough, a double possibility is there as well. Danielle Parsons is a great hitter, so the double is definitely on the board for this team.
Little slight broom adjustment there from McEvoy as we see Parsons here with double on her mind. One piece of the second one. What's the yellow? Making it the yellow, the shot rock, pushing the blue to the 12.
Just had to hit a hair fatter. Still a great shot nonetheless.
Getting a piece of 2, getting the piece of them and pushing the blue and making the yellow one the shot rock. And 8. Definitely been a great battle between these thirds, Danielle Parsons. And here's Breen's Marley Powers.
And Marley will try and get a nose hit to make the double a little tougher on the and
can that blue one stick?
almost twirled back around, but did not. That was unfortunate for Marley.
Yeah, Marley's had some little bit of trying to, get with the nose hits and a lot of rolls and been quite vocal about it and really on the brushers to try to keep it straight.
Yeah, with the rocks at the back of the house, the finish has been late in the pass from the halfway in from the hog line in. So with the rock at the back of the house, you almost need just a hair more ice in order to for that extra finish.
Parsons up weight. Thomas Moore.
Nice hit and stick.
Pedestrians, onlookers, not needed on that shot as it's removed all self there by Danielle Parsons.
And it looks like we're heading to another blank end, which is very unprecedented to have 5 blank ends in a 10-end game with free rock zone, free guard zone rule in effect. You usually can get 1 or 2 blank ends, but it's tough to do.
Nose hit there, top of the 12. Exchanging shots. As you mentioned there, Nancy, 4 blanks, looking at our 5th being a possibility.
Of course, Julie will hope that Teresa hits and sticks on her last, but Julie will first of all have to hit and stay in the rings herself in order for Teresa to have that same option happen to her. But of course, Teresa to blank this end, and we'll be looking to try to hit and roll out after Julie makes her hit and stick in the rings.
Team Pinckney making things a little interesting against Marianne Arsenault on sheet D. 5-4 for Arsenault. They play the 8th. This one all by itself. And the rollout. And this is at the time where we, of course, want to give everybody an update on the McDermott brothers game, as they are actually in a timeout over there. It's 5-3s. They play the 8th. So Arsenault, McDermott up top right now, hoping to go to and 1. And anxious times here for Pinckney and Brothers in at 3-3. So it's putting a lot of emphasis on this important one between Breen and McEvoy, because if the, as I said a few minutes ago, if the scenario stays the way it is, this will find themselves in 3rd place.
Teresa trying to do a nose freeze. She wants to be directly on the nose and freeze right against that back rock, making it very difficult for Julie to take that rock out of play.
That blue that's well back out of the rings. That's what's coming over, and yeah, let's just sit there in the top 8. But there is, of course, you say the jam it over there.
Yeah, Julie has to be careful of where she hits this. You'll want to hit a little on the inside and roll towards the button area to avoid the jam.
Here's 1 timeout so far. Just trying to figure what weight, what path, and how they could avoid that one that's in that back there. They put it over there purposely to make the blank hard here, so make it, of course, make it a jam situation, pardon me. So as you see, McEvoy here basically maybe turnabout is fair play, hopefully.
Always hoping for great shots. Julie needs to just hit on the inside of this rock in order to avoid the jam.
McEvoy with her last here in 8.
And
Punches
nice
it
shot.
out. You force my hand, I'll force yours. Good enough.
Now Teresa would have the same issue
Exactly, yeah.
as trying to blank the end. She has to avoid the jam at the back. So now she's going inside out. So she has 12 feet she'll have to roll across in order to blank this end. So it was a great shot by Julie, placing her rock, rolling to where she did. Teresa will have to up her weight just a little bit because she has such a long roll. Rolling 12 feet is a long way to make blank.
Scoreboard in the top of your screen says it all. Blanks in 1, 2, 6, and 7. Final stone here for Breen of the Mayflower Curling Club. Facing 1 lonely, McEvoy Yellowstone. And the roll, but they're going to get on it. Can they get it out the rest of the way? They're scrubbing, they're scrubbing, they're scrubbing. Yeah, they'll stick around for 1.
Yeah, as I said, way to roll 12 feet. So that was a great shot by Julie to hold the Teresa Breen team to 1. McEvoy team going into the 9th end with the hammer down 1.
So, scoreboard has been stuck at 3s for a while. Changed just momentarily, just a couple seconds ago. 4-3. Breen, she's pretty well had the lead since the beginning. Of course, blanks in the first and the second. Breen the third. McEvoy came back and got 2 in the fourth. And then McEvoy stole before the 5th end break to tie things at 3. Blanks in 6 and 7, and the force by McEvoy as Breen was unable to roll out. Point as we hit to end number 9. McEvoy hit the hammer, throwing the yellow stones. And teams right now are just talking and trying to figure out the strategy here in 9. 2 ends. And, well, we could be also possibly looking at, if the result doesn't, for the losing team, the last 2 ends here of their championships. As I said, things right now, the front runners, Arsenault and McDermott, are leading in their games. McDermott 5, Brothers 3 as they play the 8th. And Arsenault 5 and Pinckney 4 as they play the 8th. And you can see that some of the competitors now doing a little bit of scoreboard watching, knowing that their fate may be in the hands of some other teams. As we are underway here in 9, here draw 7, Nova Scotia Scotties on 5 TV1. Dan Hobson and Nancy McConnery here with the call on teams Brothers, or teams Breen and McEvoy, pardon me. Breen and McEvoy both coming at 3 and 3. 4-foot area. Pardon me, the 8-foot area. 6:30 here on the East Coast of Canada.
Julie will be glad that first rock came into the house. She'll be hoping now that they can keep the rocks in play and hopefully blank this end and the hammer home being 1 down.
Jill Thomas punches the yellow piece of the rock. And shooter goes as well. As you betcha, they'll try to keep it clean here. Go for all, hands on deck and in 10. But of course, everybody's got to do what we think they're going to do for that to materialize. Here is Amanda Simpson once again, end number 9. Lots of spin. Starting to come out on its own. And once again in the house.
Just slipping in again.
Updating things on sheet B, and the former world champion, Nova Scotia champion, and Hall of Famer. Of course, she's playing third stone during the championships here. Colleen Jones, Nancy Dell Hunt calling game, and the skip here for it. They've got a 4 spot there in end 8, and they're starting to walk away 7-2 against Ladouceur. That was pretty well close until that big one. As I said earlier, with Ladouceur, just the odd one bad end is the only thing that's really hurt her here at the championships. Ladouceur 0-6, Jones 2-4. Jocelyn Adams. Power's telling it to fan off, but it's all out there by itself. Just punches the Yellowstone, gets a little bit of a roll. pretty well has been one. This end is pretty well the way that this game has gone. Of course, not much really generated in offense. Only 7 points combined by the teams. Sheena Moore.
I think that one picked right out of her hand.
Now this is what we were kind of concerned about, and not many picks in this game, but boy, what a time for this to happen. 9th and end of this one in a 4-3 game. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, picks aren't nice. It's very frustrating when you get a pick. You have no control over those. You like to have control of what you're doing, and that is one thing you don't have control over.
Yeah, you've seen like people do extra housekeeping, making sure that the paths are clean, that nothing gets in the way. But you say with 3 other sheets being played on, there's other outside factors that that you can't control. And as you mentioned, you hate for it to happen, but it's one of the realities of this sport. So Breen has a chance here to
come around and sit 2.
Yeah, come around, sit 2. So hopefully it's for the McEvoy team that they don't really want that to be what determines whether they are in the playoff picture or not.
No, she just needs a nose hit here, and she can get rid of both those rocks.
Yeah, put that in the hands of Sheena Moore.
Get a redemption back. Shot looks good.
And she get them both. They're working hard. There it is. 1, 2. Can that blue one spill out? They're on it right away, sweeping it hard. Can't completely get it out. It will stay in the 12-foot area.
Teresa has opted to draw to the open side, keeping her rocks far apart, eliminating a double possibility, and trying to force McEvoy to 1 point this end, so that she the hammer in the 10th end. Tied.
Man, since it's out of the hand, Breen comes up there. Powers has had a little bit of difficulty there trying to hold shots, and Breen was right 2 or 3. As soon as it was released, she was out there and relieved the sweeper, Simpson. Saw something that she didn't like and came out, and
That ended up being a fine draw.
yeah. You see the blue stones belonging to Breen split. One front 8, other back 12. Just past the tee line in the 12.
I'm not sure what Julie called, if she called the roll over to the blue one or if she wants to a little bit to the wing on the open side. I'm not quite sure what she called. Either shot would be good.
Yeah. Just hope it just to try to, maybe you bring the play back over there, because then you can get it there, better chance of, getting a double if you have the angle to do it. But they'll get just a nose on this. Now the shot rock belongs to McEvoy here, 9. She has the hammer. And she'd like to keep it and go into 10.
Or get her 2. Either
way,
is good.
yeah, that's a possibility too. But
Wants to get her 2, or the only option she doesn't want is a steal of 1.
or be forced to 1 and then relinquish the hammer. In a tied game, then she'd have to steal in 10.
One thing about trying to steal in 10, though, that's your only mission. So you don't worry about any other rocks in play. You just get your center guards up and you try as hard as you can to get that rock in onto the 4-foot. Because it doesn't matter once the game is tied how much the other team has in play. You're just trying to steal that 1 point. So it makes it a little easier with steel in mind when it comes down to the 10th end.
Parsons had a nice double earlier in this game. Third stones and 9. Right on the nose with that one. Little roll.
Just exchanging shots here. Teresa has to be careful. She definitely needs to stay in play. Her shot, she has to stay shot ahead of that little biter that they have on the front. Otherwise, Julie will be able to hit that blue one at the back out for 2.
You see, we're into the skip rocks here, 9. This game just passed the 2, well, a bit delayed, but we're getting close to that 2.5 hour mark.
Both teams still have plenty of time left. With Breen just under 11 minutes and McEvoy just over 7 minutes left.
Here is the aforementioned Breen and 9. On its own. And roll out. Roll to the 12, pardon me, and stay there.
I don't know, Julie this might not be a bad idea to. No, I guess she can't get no. She has to roll because she has to be shot here so that Teresa has to deal with it. So she does have to get a little roll to the center to keep her shot rock out counting the blue rock in the back 12.
Ladisher bounced back there with a 2 and 9 as they play 10. Team that made a lot of noise getting into these championships and playing their last end as they came in today 0-6. You were saying that she needed to stay and was unable to, was Julie.
Teresa has 2 options. She can either hit that yellow one out or draw around, and she's opted to do the draw around and try to really force Julie into a tough shot to keep Julie, so that Julie can stay in the game. Teresa will need to make this shot, stay somewhere in the rings. Otherwise, Julie would have a hit on the back blue one to sit 2.
Draw weight for Breen been pretty good here in this game. Goes for the usual curlers pre-shot routine.
Although Teresa hasn't had many draws because she's had a lot of throw-throughs with all the blank ends. But hopefully she can draw here.
Nothing yet.
And Jocelyn thinks it might be a little heavy, but it's looking pretty good.
Simpson Adams. Will it stop in time? Just does. Being the just touching the 12-foot in the back.
Forcing Julie to do a draw to the 4-foot to take her 1. Julie does have a little bit of backing, but as I said before, if you're a little heavy, you don't get the curl, so she can't really even be thinking about the backing. She needs to just think 4-foot and put her rock right on the pin.
it was promised to be a very good, close game between the teams. We kind of surprised that it may not be the what we expected in terms of offense. It's been a low-scoring one, as you see. It's a final stone here from Julie McEvoy out of the CFB Curling Club. Right now, facing a couple of blue stones on the outside.
It's looking like it's coming in nicely.
And you said the backing there.
And she ended up using the backing and fine shot. She
Yep.
got her one. Tie game going into 10 with Breen having the hammer. Update on sheet D, Team Brothers and McDermott. Brothers blanked the 8th end, has the hammer in 9th, and is down 2. Score is 5-3 for McDermott.
They just put a score up there, and Arsenault with 2 in the 8th, 7-4 over Pinckney. They play the 9th.
Arsenault trying to secure a first place spot in the round robin. If she wins her game and McDermott loses, then Arsenault, by virtue of a 6-1 win, would take first place over McDermott, who would finish 5-2. So McDermott is on a path and wanting to win her game bad. And if she wins, due to her round robin win over Marianne Arsenault, if they both finish at 6-1, McDermott would get the bye to the final, and Arsenault would be playing in the semifinal in place.
Yeah, what we know right now, Ladouceur and Jones eliminated from the playoffs, and right now it's Pinckney and Brothers. Could be possibly on the outside looking in as they get to the closing stages of this one. And in this one that we're watching right now, it is McEvoy and Breen 4-4 in the 10th.
And Jill Thomas coming up big with a beautiful center guard send off.
So it's all hands on deck. Eddie, basically it's all or nothing here in end number 10, 4-4. Teams may be fatigued, but they're going to be giving it their all here in this end to try to get into this playoff picture. Coming around, and sitting right on the lid on him. Shot there by Breen's Amanda Simpson.
Yeah, it's a very nice shot by Amanda Simpson. Julie will come down and freeze to that.
You liked her last shot. See if she's got a good one here. Jill Thomas. Swiper's optional right now. Maybe they'll start to dig in. A Yelwyn guard that they just threw.
Well, I guess
Gives
they
a
must
slight
have
touch.
They must have another guard out front. They do need to steal, so 2 guards that can't be removed. I guess that would be the proper call to make in this 10th end.
Free guard zone, of course, 4 rocks. And each end can't be removed, the first 4, so trying to put rocks in play to generate the steal, as you mentioned. Simpson has to ignore those 2, or not even take a shot, just a getaway. Now this is starting to come in. Maybe they're going to try to, might get a piece of it, but not. It's going to be okay. Started to come over, but well past and into the rings, and right on the lid, and with some protection.
She probably would have preferred it to be just biting the forefoot. Now Julie will freeze down onto that rock that's just on the button and put herself in a good scoring position.
In hopes to
steal the win away from
exactly
Breen.
keep it so that it's really hard to get out. So I have a funny feeling any team that gets one of the rocks in the behind the tee line not going to help them out. But this one is coming over. All looks like he just gets by the hair
Great
of the
sweeping.
chin and
Great sweeping.
pushes it back. There's not much things in the world that you can actually put through that little hole. Maybe pieces of paper at best.
Teresa's going to open up the front now.
Jocelyn Adams has to get rid of those yellow stones in front. They're going hard right away. And she noses. Oh, it punches the blue out. So the steal is in play for McEvoy here in 10. Flying 2 and protection out front.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate break for Jocelyn. Now Sheena will put another guard out front. Block this off.
Now, when you say guard, do you want this to be long, or do you want? Where would you put the placement of it?
In front of the blue ones, so they don't have
The run back possibility.
Yeah, the run back. And they're going to try to set it up so it's straight in front of it, so that they don't have
Any
a
chance.
double.
Yeah.
And Sheena threw that perfect. It's a great shot. And Teresa will be trying to clean front of the house out.
Just gonna get that one removed. That yellow one just thrown there by Moore.
Amanda will probably be throwing some firmer weight on this one, and she can do that. Try to get rid of a couple of these rocks out front.
Big time weight. Pushes the yellow up and in.
And great shot. Nice to get rid of a couple rocks.
And towards the back. Good bounce back shot for Adams here. So we're into third stones here in this 10th end.
Julie guarding for her life.
Trying to get a steal. Trying to do something that has not been done in this game. We've had plenty of blanks, but no steals in this one.
Well, actually, we did have one steal.
Who had steal? Yes, 5. Thank you. I see it.
That's okay. We've had so many blanks, it's hard to remember what went on.
Sometimes the games just combine with other games for me when you like 14-hour days.
That's right. Yeah, you've been here all day.
Yeah. I should be allowed to make probably, what, a 5-air minimum?
More than that.
Yeah.
That turned out to be not too bad of a shot because the double isn't there. There most likely will still be some rocks out front.
There's Powers. You hear her.
Oh, no, actually, that turned out really well for her.
Yes, and punches one of those yellows out.
Great shot by Marley Powers to open up the front and put themselves in second and third shot.
See, that's a team game. Of course, they were in a little bit of trouble, but Marley Powers with that last shot there just seconds ago. It's
got them out of a huge hole.
Yeah, made the situation that was bad into not a too bad of a situation. Parsons guarding the Yellowstone long guard.
And Teresa right away runs up to peel that center guard off. Anything out front is not a friend to Teresa right now in the 10th end.
Harley Powers once again throws a bomb at this one here in 10. And gets the result they wanted. Rose to yellow. Shooter goes as well. Bruce Lotus trying to get his foursome's attention to call timeout.
Oh, and Sheena just caught his attention.
Yeah.
A timeout is called.
Yeah, 30 seconds win off there, but of course the team has to call the timeout. The coach was trying to get their attention. It's just so hard to do, but you know, luckily for them that as you said, Moore and Thomas were at the other end and saw it. Bruce Lonis was very adamant trying to get their attention, and you know, persistence paid off, and finally they did see it. So we have timeout here in 10.
Sheet B has completed the Jones-Ladouceur game. Team Jones ran Ladouceur out of rocks in 10th end, ending both their goals of trying to win the provincial Scotties. Jones finishing 3 and 4. What is it? Sorry, Jones finishing 2 and 5, and Ladouceur 0 and 7. Great weekend for Ladouceur. Even though they didn't win a game, they had some, as said earlier, they had just a couple of bad ends here and there. Otherwise, they played great, and it'd be a great experience for them, and looking forward to seeing them next year.
Jones started off with a win against this McEvoy team in the first draw, and then a loss to McDermott, and followed up with a win versus Brothers, and then 3 straight losses to Arsenault, Breen, and Pinckney. That bounces back with a win to, and of course, the championships for them. But the Ladouceur team, you're going to hear a lot about them in the coming years. The youngest team ever to qualify for the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Knowledge is power, and they've gained a lot of knowledge, so hopefully they'll turn that into being a powerful team years down the road.
There's an update on Sheet D. Brothers scored 3 in the 9th end to take a 1-point lead over McDermott, 6-5 after 9. McDermott with the hammer.
Pinckney scored 2 in 9, so 7-6 as they play the 10th.
And Arsenault has the hammer there.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, Forsum saw that score go up because they're on the side of on the carpet of Sheet E, and seeing that and knowing that they could pretty well finish here in first place. And what's so remarkable about the way they started, they lost their first one and then have yielded off 5 straight, so looking like they could win 6 straight here as they play the 10th versus Pinckney.
Yeah, the Arsenault team is definitely hoping for a McDermott loss. And Brothers, of course, needs to win that game in order to stay in the playoff hunt. With a win, they will be in a tiebreaker against the winner of our game here on Sheet C.
Yep, they're back in the picture here. Skip Rocks in 10. Breen from the Mayflower Curling Club. Gets rid of some shrapnel, and shooter goes Estella bye-bye as well.
Julie's last shot, she'll be trying the same shot again, tight guard. Try to protect her rock that is shot, forcing Teresa to have to do a little tap back for the win.
Is okay there, as you see, 210, and last rock on its way here for McEvoy without the hammer and 10. Block the path. Making Breen's last shot difficult. That's the plan here. This 3-3 McEvoy foursome. More telling it to slow down now. They're going to go drag it and put it right on the advertisement.
Nice shot. They've done their job. Now they're forcing Teresa to either do a draw through that little port to the button or to tap hers up for the win.
They'll take a...
She's indicated a double call also on those two.
Taking their time there. They have plenty to use.
That's not a bad call, the double actually. Looks like it might be the easiest shot. They have that saver at the back 4 foot as well, Team Breen.
We'll, as you say, we were giving updates on the other sheets. We'll give us a couple of quick ones right now. Once again, as you say, it is 6-5 Brothers and McDermott. Brothers leading that one. And timeout on that sheet. And Arsenault 7-6 as they play the 10th.
I think Breen has opted to do the double, hitting off her own into the yellow to try to secure the point for the win.
Once again, a second place finish. Runner-up, the Dave Jones Cashbill back in October. 21 wins, 14 losses. Winners of the Lady Monktonian Invitational Spiel. Final stone. Breen here in 10.
Looks like she has it.
Punches it out.
Nice shot.
4-2 and the win.
Moving her team on to at least a tiebreaker. We're still having to wait for the Brothers McDermott game and the Pinckney Arsenault game. If either Brothers or Pinckney win their game, then there will be a tiebreaker.
Win 6-4. Improves to 4-3. McEvoy to 3-4. So it didn't seem to have a lot of offense, but it did have a lot of drama, Nancy.
It sure did.
All right, so we're going to wrap things up, and we'll give everybody a chance to maybe tune in to Bell 5 TV1's coverage on Sheet D to watch the finish between McDermott and Brothers. And just a final quick update on E. As we said, that Arsenault leads Pinckney as they play the 10th, 7-6. So for my broadcast colleague, Nancy McConnery, My name's Dan Hobson. Thank you for tuning in. So long. You've been watching draw number 7 of the Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts on TV1.